Hello, YouTubers and all those who happen to watch. Today I'm going to review The Seventh Guest. Now, this game is quite what I would like to call one of those staples for the PC market. Now, of course, it did have several ports that are notable, but however, I would say anyway, the true ports that were fantastic was the Mac as well as the PC version, because there was no initial difference between the two. So what I have here is the PC version of The Seventh Guest. Now, this game was one of the first CD-ROM games to feature full cinematic actors and voice acting and all this stuff. It was just a cinematic presentation. It was more of an interactive movie, which contained a lot of initial puzzles, which were somewhat grotesque, meaning they had like a horror theme to them, which were fantastic, I would have to say. Not only were these puzzles challenging to me, they were something that held out to the test of time, because these puzzles to this date, while I can forget most of them, such as the Mercury puzzle, which is the telescope one, actually I'm sorry, Mars puzzle, and as well as the bed puzzle, the crypt puzzle, the maze puzzle, all these puzzles alone were fantastic to play. When I was a kid, though, I was kind of restricted of what I could play of it. So, pretty much any cutscenes were gruesome or anything like that, I was told to turn around, leave the room, or something of that nature. I was allowed to play the puzzles, though, which, I could see a human brain or eyeballs and all that stuff, but yet I couldn't see the stuff. There was also one particular scene, of course, where these two people were making out on the bed, which was the bed puzzle, or the Scarlet Room puzzle there. And it was just a really interesting thing to definitely note. So I'm going to show you inside the box here what it contains at the slipcover, which is embroidered, which has Seventh Guest embroidered in itself. It gives you some brief information of what is up with this game. It says, warning, this product contains scenes of graphic violence and pure evil, which may offend some users. That's why you bought the game anyway, so you could be offended. So then you initially crack open the box, which is, pretty much ivory colored. And what it included was a quite nice book. Now, it first initially came with this long cover, which is really nice. Contains all the information that you need to know, how to install the drivers, all that, how to set up an MS-DOS if you did that. Initially, this game can, of course, be in Windows 95, no problem, as I recall correctly. It used MS-DOS 1.5 or higher, which was recommended. And when we first got we got a new computer back in the day. It had like a CD-ROM, or at least when the CD-ROM first came out for computer users. We bought this bundle, which actually included the Seventh Guest. We didn't get this big box version. It was actually just a a slipcase of sorts. So we got it, and it was fantastic. It was like this experience I never saw before in games, and it was really inspired me to go back and play RPGs. And as weird as this may sound, it actually made me go back, because yes, to this date, one of the slight things of this game is the charm to it is the absolutely corny storyline, and the acting is just really, I would say, B-movie quality, which it provides this entertainment to you where you start laughing at it at some points, but it's something that doesn't offend me in any means. It actually inspires me to play it more because it's just how corny and silly it is. So, it initially tells you all the instructions. I'll give you a brief tour of the STOF files, which they come with two of these, which is kind of interesting, and I think one of these was actually my extra copy of sorts. Yeah, as you can see right here, this was the original one we had with ours, which was included with this CD-ROM bundle, which had not for resale on the sticker on top of this one. And this is the one that came with this boxed copy. Again, there's no initial difference between the two books. Besides, they actually have articles explaining, stories and bits and pieces of what stuff was all about, elements and settings and atmospheres, or at least they set the atmosphere, for the game. So what they do is they actually explain the game to you. They show you here with these little clippings of, articles of the local newspaper, how and what initially happened. So it was pretty awesome. Oh, it was Burden was the chick's name, and practically I'll show you the actors. These were the people that were portrayed in the game, which were, of course, the actors themselves. As you can see, there's initially 6, and there's one missing. Actually, no, my bad. It was Edward and Eleanor Knox, which was a couple there. But Edward and Maureen, or Madeline, her right there, obviously get freaky in the bed. If you played the game, you would know, and or you'd catch on. Initially, Stoff was a toy maker, or before that, of course, he was a wanderer. He was sort of a robber of sorts, someone who would, mug people in the woods or something like that, and, practically, just make their day miserable or murder them so their day would be extremely bad after that. So you have this setting of this really grotesque evil guy. Then he suddenly discovers he wants to make puzzles. So one night he's sleeping, and this is where this comes to him, of course. And so he decides, okay, I'm going to discover how to build these puzzles. So overnight he starts building all these puzzles, he starts building dolls, and these dolls become extremely popular. And this initially how he comes into his fortune is by these Stoff dolls. A toy for life is a Stoff doll, that type of gimmick. Which it says the actual what the actual quote is. But anyway, the game itself is what I would call, it had a lot of great elements to it. I think it also benchmarked a lot of things too, where it actually, while it was not perfect in some elements, it was a fantastic game for its time, and including now. It's a shame, though, I did not see a 3DS port of this game, or a DS port of the title yet, or a PSP title, or anything handheld, because I think it would be a really interesting experience to be able to go and, be able to interact with it with a stylus or something of that nature, be able to play. I mean, Myst got the same treatment with the DS, even though it wasn't quite as good. It would have been really interesting to see this on a modern handheld, or something of that nature. I don't know. Maybe I'm just silly. So the other contents of the game were, of course, you got your hints and tips solutions, you got your Microsoft manual, which has, Order, Excel, the little pamphlets that pretty much try to entice you to do or sign up for this said stuff. And it also included a shrink wrapper, which was something here which you put your, all your books and things of that nature, so that way they kept protected, which everyone knows by those by now. And of course they included the double-sided, which I included paper there to make sure they don't pop out, the double-sided casing here, which is quite interesting. See, they're already popping out now. Hey, see what I mean? So these have been through hell and high water. They were cheaply made, but for the time they were pretty cool. I'll have to get a new case or something, some 2 slip covers or something, and keep this plastic case somewhere. So you initially got that. It came with 2-sided discs. Second disc included music, which was a soundtrack by the Fat Man, which is really just a skinny guy from Texas. And so the second disc here, which has Stoff's face and the altered color scheme, practically has all this great music. Which sadly now, the whole reason why this review is like it is now is because a lot of the gameplay contains copyrighted music by this guy. This guy copyrighted all the music from this game because he was so proud of it, and on top of that he wanted to make a couple extra bucks off his intellectual property. He decided to do that, so that's why you're seeing it quite like this, and sadly so. I will probably include some gameplay footage or someone's Let's Play, which I have behind me here, which someone did a pretty good Let's Play of it, so why not give this guy an extra view or two from you lovely folks. And I'll show you the VHS tape here really quickly. Now, of course, this game was published by Virgin Games, and it had a very interesting case here, because this is something I haven't seen too often. The VHS tape was, or this part of it was upwards, so you just kind of go and take the VHS tape out and watch it accordingly. Now, I was going to actually upload this up on YouTube because I can actually, record it and put it up on YouTube. However, I don't think that'd be a good idea because some of the guest music is on there, and I don't want to have to deal with that crap and say copyright. It's like, I work as hard as I can to make this review hopefully legible, and this is too much of a hassle, pretty much. So this is a lot easier for me. So as you can see, I have one of the dolls he designed, which is based off one of the first children, I believe, who died. And there's like a room inside the game. You'll see a bunch of dolls, which I won't say too much about that. You'll discover it for yourself. Your stuff on the front cover here, special edition video, which again, it's a really good watch. It's really short. It's like 30 minutes long, and it just contains or pertains to the elements of the game, which you could probably look on YouTube and find this as well and watch it that way. So, yeah, what is my closing impressions of the game? It's a timeless classic. It is available on GOG.com, along with The 11th Hour, which I also have this boxed, and I would say nearly complete because it's not fully complete. But it's honestly a gem. And if you can bear with the corniness of the cutscenes in this title, it's definitely worth the initial purchase of sorts. So yeah, the 7th guest gets a 8 out of 10, which is sort of a safe score. If I tried to compare this to standards of today, it would not be fair, so therefore the game in itself holds itself well. It's just some people might be picky about it, which is a given, always. So yeah, if you can find it on the cheap, definitely snag it in a thrift store or get it from GOG.com, which is a very dependable source. Take care, everybody.